Welcome to Crestron Toolbox tutorial. SIMPL Debugger allows programmers to test and debug simple programs by monitoring the status of selected signals in real time. It is an essential tool for debugging, troubleshooting, and testing. In this video, we will go over how to use the tool and explain many of its features. For additional information on this tool, you can access the help file while it is open by pressing F1 on your keyboard. Here we can see an overview of the tool and also what the colored signal symbols mean. First, you'll need to connect to the processor that's running the program. Let's do that now. Once you connect, you'll need to choose the program you want to debug. Note that Debugger uses a .sig file that is generated when the program is compiled. You will need this file to debug, though Debugger will try to find it in the folder your program is located in. If the SIG file is not found, you will need to locate it on your computer and select it manually. In this case, we'll select Program 1. You'll get an option to synchronize the state of all signals. Let's get oriented with how it works. On the right side, you can see the state of the signals in your program. You can pause the scrolling and clear the trace that you are looking at. Under Debugger settings, there are various options that can be configured or tweaked if desired. You can save what you're looking at to a log for future viewing if needed as well. On the left, we can view all signals in the program. If any signals have been set to trace in simple windows, you can see them in their own folder here. We can do various things with our signals. Let's look at an example of what you can do to test a digital, analog, or serial signal. When we manipulate a signal, we can see the results on the right side of Debugger. With a digital signal, we can simulate activating that signal. We'll double-click on the signal to open it up. You can simulate high, low, rising edge, falling edge, or press it momentarily, just like one would do with a button on a touch panel. When we do any of these things, we are just sending different possible states of 1 or 0, since we are working with a digital signal. You can also view the state of that signal. In this case, we can see that it is set to 0. If we force the signal high, we can see that it is high in Debugger. If we just press the button, we can see it go from high to low. To clear a trace, press the clear button. Let's move on to analog signals. In this case, we'll use light's current level as an example. With analog signals, you can send specific levels or values depending on what you want to test. In this case, the lights are using a range of values from 0D to 65535D to simulate 0 to 100%. Since we want to simulate 0%, we'll send the minimum value, which is 0D. Notice how the current level is now at 0D. You may be able to send values as percentages as well. Let's try that now. We'll send 62%. Notice how the level changed, and even though we sent a percentage, Debugger is showing it as a decimal. If you right-click on the signal area, you can change how signals are viewed by pressing Signal Display Format. Currently, it is on default. If we change it to percentage, we can see that it is now showing it to us as a percentage. Next, let's take a look at serial signals. We can send text directly in. Notice how the text now says test. If we were looking at our touch panel, it would now say test on it, since the signal we stimulated happened to be text that shows up on the panel. This is called indirect text. If you are controlling a device via RS-232 or serial, you can send strings manually in the same way with SIMPL Debugger. However, you will need to send exactly the strings the device would be expecting and in the proper format. Once you are done debugging your program, don't forget to close the debugger. Thank you for watching.